You want me to show you something that gets me fired the hell up? Oh my God. This is the equivalent of a football boner right here, guys. This is true pro personnel, two tight end set. We got two backs in the eye. We're underneath center, and we got one guy motion. So we are in 13 personnel. Okay. Actually, 23 personnel. I haven't said that in so long, I can't even remember the last time I've said this, where you have truly two backs in the backfield with Chambliss, an outside linebacker. It would be a perfect fullback in high school. I bet he played it, and that's why they probably put him there. But this is absolutely beautiful play design where you G-power, you G-scheme this, and I would actually call this is not even power. This is ISO. We don't have a true puller in this. Everybody that's got their hand down on the ground has a job, okay? So I'm going to show you this and how this works because this fires me the hell up. I just absolutely cannot tell you how much this fires me up. So on play side, first off, you got to basically drop your balls and take care of this zero technique, Jared Wilson, which he does. These two guys have got to work up inside gap and just try their best to make sure they're in the way that nothing gets across their face to climb. Lawson's going to come across and then come back. But the play side is what's so important. And I cannot believe, because of where they're at right now, this is what's beautiful. It's a symmetric play. So Lawson is to the side where they think it's heavy. That's why you see it really heavy to this side. And when he goes in motion, the one guy with him that's man-to-man goes with him and comes back. But what we end up doing is we end up running it to what we would attribute to their weak side. Notice what they have here. This is where it's blocked correctly. Xavier Truss, as much as I have given you so much hell over the years, you, by God, did what was right here by not only blocking him down, because Tate is going to pull and G this. So we're going to kick him out with a G. Okay, we're going to get another down block, and thank God Jurasic goes to the correct backer because the fullback, by God, has this son of a buck right there to flathead his ass in the gap. Oh, this is absolutely gorgeous. Because what happens when Truss takes on this double team, this next backer trying to get across, he blocks his ass into that linebacker. I always used to say a great block by a lineman was when you down block him, if you do have a double team, like if Tate was actually double teaming with him, which he's not here, he's G'ing it. But still, if you block the ass into a backside linebacker who can't scrape, it is a gorgeous block. You double team without double teaming. And Xavier Truss does exactly that right there. So what you're going to get this play side, I'm going to basically open it up. Lucky comes across. He bozos back. And then you're going to get the open deal. All right, so you open up. The reason why you see Carson open up oppo to the play is because you want the fullback to clear. If he opens up play side, that's the reason why you see him open up oppos, because the fullback has to clear that. You don't want to fumble the football trying to get the ball out to your tailback. So you got Truss, man. That's my doggy right there. That's using that 6'7", 350-pound ass is what you should be doing since day one that you've been playing, since last year, the 2023 season and this season as well. You're blocking him into your other linebacker. Jurasic is climbing. You've got the G on the edge guy, and there's Chambliss going up inside and taking on the linebacker, and it is an easy run in right there. I'm going to run this back because it is just absolutely gorgeous. It makes I could sit here and watch this play all day long. 23 personnel, G ISO right here. Take kick out, down block, kick him out. Touchdown, Georgia. Damn it, yeah. Woo! Get excited about that. I wanted to show you the vision of Nate Frazier. This is something we haven't had in the back, I would say, realistically, since maybe Kenny McIntosh, even Dejan, to where this gentleman right here sees that there's the backside cut. Now, basically, Tennessee is equivalent to almost in a 3-3 stack right here, I guess. So you're going to get basically a down block across the board. Let me go ahead and get this started here. You're going to get a down block across the board. So everybody's blocking Zulu, which is zone left. So you got Monroe Freeling at left tackle. You've got Fairchild at left guard. They're going to take that guy that's head up on Monroe Freeling or on his inside eye. Okay, Jared Wilson at center, Tate Ratledge at right guard. They're going to take on that zero technique. And then you got Truss on his 4-eye, the guy that's on his inside shelf. And Jurasic are going to basically work to double team. Now, each one of these guys are going to leverage and post, and whoever has the less leverage on the down lineman will then climb to the next backer. So you're going to see as it's run, Watch all of these double teams. So you basically got 2 on 2 on their individual down linemen. And what's going to happen is each one of them should climb off of that. So you can see how Monroe Freeling, because they've got to assume it's zone left. They're still blocking those steps left. So Tate Ratledge has less leverage, so he's going to climb. Dylan Fairchild is taking over, so Monroe Freeling is going to climb. And Urasek has the less leverage on his guy, so he's going to climb. So now you've got 6 to 6 taken care of right here. But what I love is Nate Frazier, because of how we're moving the line of scrimmage, changing where the line of scrimmage is at. Nate makes a jump cut almost backside 2 gaps. And now he's got the hole. I know Carson Beck's feeling it, after a couple of his runs tonight. He's really carrying out that zone pull fake off of that too. What he needs to do, if he's really going to do this and exaggerate it, he needs to get a little wider off of this. But still, though, the only guy that can make this tackle is the backside apex defender to the twin side, because they're running fast screen rabbit concept out here to the right. But I just truly enjoy watching 3 when he is in his element, to be able to put his foot in the ground and get backside. That is an unbelievable jump cut, unbelievable vision, just for a basic 5-yard zone gain right here. But this is what the zone does if you're blocking it correctly and you have people in the right gaps to take on the fits once you have the post from each lineman that doesn't have the leverage to their down guy in the gap. But just a beautiful play here in his vision. I just really love watching this over and over and over again. So we'll watch it full speed here. Just beautiful play design, great vision, get north and south, make you tackle, take it all day long. I know Carson Beck would love to have this back. When he ends up motion from aces out to trips wide bunch, this is a setup against man-to-man to try to crisscross your guys up to set up a wall. It's kind of similar to how you would run sluggo, but you're kind of reversing this out. And this is probably one play that Carson Beck would love to have the throwback from right here. Because with Delp being up front, he's the apex guy. So he's the one who sort of forces the issues to make people make commitments early. So you got a zone defender sitting here. This guy's the inside bracket to take care of the first receiver that shows inside. So he's got this guy. This guy's going to show whatever shows outside first. So right now you would think that this guy's on him and this guy's looking at him. But you could get a crisscross here, and that's what we end up getting, because what Anthony Evans is going to do is he's going to push the post, which is going to also set up a wall because Delp is running the vertical. So that you can kind of see the natural wall that is created off of this. And Dominic is going to follow that on a wheel, or a rail route is what that is called. And this is one, like I said, Carson would love to have back. If Carson decides off of this, because the defender decides to go underneath the wall instead over the top of the wall, which is the no-no, which is why you've got man-to-man beat. So what you can see is Dominic coming off of this now, him coming underneath that wall of Anthony Evans. It's basically a natural pick that takes place. And they're not going to call this because he's trying to fight on his post route. He can't help it that he's stuck on stupid and went underneath this. He is going to be working to get over the top of that, and that's just a poor decision to go underneath it, and now we've got him beat. But, Carson's already let this ball go because he knows that he's got that situation. To me, Carson should have threw this on a rope, a little bit harder, a little bit lower elevation on the ball, and should have threw it right here at the G, right here in the middle of the G, and let Dominic run underneath it like a true wheel route right here. But he puts too much air underneath it, and that causes Dominic now to go into a back pedal, which is a wide receiver. It's the worst thing you want to do when you get into a back pedal with a ball, like a defensive back trying to run backwards. It's just not very athletic looking. And from a receiver standpoint, it's the same situation. If he'd have thrown it more on the rope to here, Dominic runs underneath it and catches a beautiful ball right here. But because he puts air underneath it, he now sends Dominic into a back pedal. And honestly, it's overthrown, to tell you honest truth. Dominic can only get the one hand on. That's the reason why it ends up being bobbled and, incomplete, going out of bounds. But, you put somebody in an unnatural state trying to catch the football, because what does a back pedal do? If you go back into your back pedal, it slows you down. So when you slow down, you obviously are not in sync with the football that's being thrown to you. And that's the reason why we see the incomplete pass right here. But if Carson puts that on a rope, Dominic is running and catching it right here over his shoulder into the back of the end zone, right on the outside label of the G, but still incomplete. And I know Carson would love to have that back. Just when I thought it couldn't be any better, Mike Bobo goes down and says, you know what? We're going to make Beck a +1 quarterback right here. And I am just blown away that we actually ran this. A lot of people don't realize and may have thought this was a busted play, but guys, this is a designed run play. Okay. For a quarterback that is a +1 type player. So what you get in this is Q power read. Okay. So the front is going to block it like power because you're going to get a wrap from the guard that should be basically getting outside this double team. And I'm telling you guys, Jurasic is getting so much better in his blocking scheme. He's growing up in front of us blocking because this double team really does a good job of moving him down inside. Now, he does slant into truss a little bit, which helps that down block. But I told you, when you run some kind of power play, okay, because you're going to get a down block here, he's got to work back to the guard moving and filling. And you got Monroe Freeland probably should be stepping inside B gap right here so that he can't get this tackle across his face. So the front is blocking power. Delp is looking like he is art blocking out for the laser jet motion. And what we're doing is Carson Beck is reading the end man on line of scrimmage. And the end man on line of scrimmage, honestly, is going to be the guy that we're double teaming right here. There's no end man on line of scrimmage. So I guess you would probably think to look and read this guy who's going to be trying to get over the top to the jet action. Okay. So everything is based off Carson's read. So as it moves, I see why he wants to pull immediately because he gets this fire. Delp is going to block him. Typically, you would not block the end man on line of scrimmage. You would read him because if the end man on line of scrimmage widens with a jet, you pull and run it up underneath. If he sits on it and does not run with the jet on the end man on line of scrimmage, then you hand it off because you're still blocking it out wide with your two wide receivers. So you got Yap to this side. It looks like based off the motion that he was the only receiver out wide. So they were in empty off of this. So you still got two guys out wide. You had you got three to the side with a Yap. You got this guy over here still left, and you got your wide receiver coming in motion. So you have three to this side and a Yap call, which is a tight end with another tight end or H off of that. You got a receiver left over here. You got a receiver left over here. And you got Cash Jones coming across, and that's who we're reading. And guys, Carson Beck pulls this football, which is a great read because you can see the double team is moving. You've got looks like Dylan Fairchild on a pull here. And then you follow your guard. Now, the backside backers worked over the top, which is what he should do for power. The double team still taking place. Truss is left Jurasic on that double team, and now he's climbing. And now you've got this guy, Fairchild, climbing up to your backside linebacker who should flow over the top because of the guard pull. That's a normal read for the backside backer to power. But he gets up in there, runs himself out of the play, and we've got a +1 quarterback play there with Carson Beck. Mike Bobo's so predictable. Mike Bobo is so predictable. Well, he just used that predictability to stun y'all's asses right here because this is a goated play. And it looks like pin and pull. But what makes it look weird is because we have the tackle widen, which is perfectly fine. If the tackle was here with the wing off of it, we basically still ran the same thing. You get a down block, you get this outside block, and you get the down block because the tackle's not pulling. He's man block this. So they show that toss action out of this. And what they do is you'll notice is they've got this end widen because Monroe Freeling is standing up in an odd situation, which influences them to widen with it. And I want you to watch this. They absolutely look like a fire drill on Tennessee's side to get downhill to that tall sweep, thinking that's what they're going to run here. They're running pin and pull. And typically what Delp does in pin and pull, let me erase all my lines here. What typically Delp does in pin and pull is he blocks down on the line of scrimmage or blocks first man on that's inside. It would probably be all the way to this guy, honestly, based off where they're stacked, because they should be in some form of man right here. But what they do with him stepping, he steps out wide. He steps wide to block. He steps down inside like he's blocking the pin and pull concept. He's man on, and he slips every one of these guys like he's running, free, basically, because every one of these guys are pushing, thinking that it's tall sweep. I mean, there's not one guy that honors Delp coming downhill on this. So I want you to watch it from the first step. Look. It's just absolutely poetry, man. Everything is poetry, and there's no way they can get back to Delp for the touchdown. Watch out there, Brooks. I'm absolutely in heaven. I can't even begin to tell you how I wish we would actually do more of this, because I think Carson throws a great ball on the run, especially to the right. And honestly, this is a left hash play because you got a right-handed quarterback. But I want you to understand they have moved Cash Jones from left to right. And what you're going to get right here is rodeo protection. So basically, everybody's trying to take a wide step and then they're sealing back inside. So what they got to do is take a wide, deep step and then they're turning their body back against. That's rodeo step protection. It's kind of like a slide step gap hinge, and you're turned back looking in that direction for anything that shows. That's a terrible arrow. For anything that shows back across your face. Okay. Cash actually ends up helping to seal off of this, which is perfect. That's the ideal rodeo protection. Now, since both I think Lucky is off and Dom is nope. Lucky, I think, is on. Dom is off, which makes Arian off too. Arian is going to run the intermediate out route. And honestly, what I would do out of this as the number 2 receiver is I would push the hash and let number 2 be your corner guy. And then this guy follow off of this and end up being your seam guy and watch what your safety does. If your safety jumps the corner, then you've got the seam route open. If he sits on the seam and they sit on the intermediate out, then the corner's open. But they actually do the opposite with those 2 receivers in their progression, which is, I'm not going to sit here, that's tit for tat. I'm not going to make a big deal out of that. But realistically, to me, that makes Dom's route dead to me, because when you get rollout by your quarterback, he's looking for everything that should be in his path of his eyes. So realistically, if he pulls the hash and he pushes the hash and runs the corner, and then you get the intermediate out route, this is all in his view, okay? Any one of those, that duck foot going to any one of those, he'd have to throw back across his body. So that's the reason why you want to take a wide step and be outside the hash. So you're actually catching it over this shoulder instead of this shoulder if you were to throw it. And what I would do, because of the intermediate out route, is I would push that corner route when it's outside the 20. I always said when it was outside the 20, you push the front pylon on the corner. If you're inside the 20, you push the back pylon on the corner route. When you're here, because you've got the intermediate out, I would almost change that to where you push kind of dead in the middle towards the end zone. So you're sort of in that nice little layered area. But still, this is just rollout by Carson Beck. He throws the ball to Arian Smith on the run, and this is a great 3rd and 6 conversion right here. But this is something I talked about with helping Carson Beck out. Move the pocket. Get him outside the pocket to where he has sort of a rhythmic throw that he has the ability to do one of 2 things. Either hit the guy he wants to hit in the progression where we're flooding the zone, and if nothing's there, you get to run with it. If they all take it, you've got 5 to 10 yards you've got. If they do come up and give you pressure, you throw it out of bounds. To me, it's a high percentage throw with efficiency that's very high, and it gives your quarterback a chance to look down the field, have his eyes in rhythm, in phase with his receivers, and be able to execute a play here. And this is a great 3rd and 6 conversion to Arian Smith on the intermediate out route. You'll notice Dom runs the seam. Lucky's got the corner, and he throws perfect timing on the intermediate out route to Arian. As you know, our offensive line did a phenomenal job for Carson Beck on Saturday night. 71 snaps, not one sack, obviously not a turnover. And I said that the line of scrimmage had to change. If we could execute at the line of scrimmage, especially against a very good defensive front that Tennessee puts up, that we would have success throwing the football, because it's not like Carson Beck forgot how to throw. But when you speed up his windows of time and don't let something develop, I understand why he does this. Now, in this case scenario, we're going to get a play that where he's been sort of sped up with his time frame of his window, that if he actually catches himself right here for a 4-second window, he's got a touchdown to Dominic Lovett. And, I'm not complaining. He had a phenomenal night throwing the football. This is just where tape review comes into play and helps you understand some things a little bit better now that hey, we've got guys up front that are taking care of business, that are holding their own. There was no need for him to actually throw the check down right here. But what I'm going to show you, this is a well-designed play. I love them running this. This is something from the Monken time as well. But you're going to get a post that clears that safety so that this follow route, which we've thrown a lot of times, really the post is a dummy route unless they just don't cover it. It's really to pull the corner so that you can have the follow behind it. But the route that's run right here by Lovett is called an under Sam over Mike. And what he's going to end up doing is, if he continues on his track, if Carson Beck gives him time, because the receiver that's on this side is just running sort of a mid-curl right here to hold this guy. That's why he's wanting to run this over here, to hold that defender that's sitting here so that he clears behind that. And if Carson gives time, which he had no reason really to throw to Frazier. He throws to Frazier on the check down here off this exit. but they do cover up the follow, which they probably worked on in practice all week long. But still, though, if he has time, which he does here for the first time in a long time, he actually gets that 4-second window. You're going to see Dominic come across the middle of the field. He would be able to throw it over the corner that's being held by this guy right here, and you've got a touchdown to Dominic on this side. So I'm going to let you watch this in real time and just see how the play develops and see why he he tosses the fake sweep, which now makes him realize he's not getting it. He's coming downhill, and I get why he wants to throw here. But I want you to watch as Dominic comes across because he's going to engage him. That's why they pull him like a boot action. They're going to bring everybody blocking down, which is a slide right protection. The backside guard is going to pull like you would on power, but it's based off that boot concept. You see the guard pull, you see the tailback jump out. That's the reason why the quarterback gives them that fake, and that's what holds everything for a second. And it also helps Tate Ratledge's block. Once this guy realizes, oh, crap, it's not toss sweep. Now I've got to get to the quarterback, and you've got a doggy waiting on him right there like a wall. I'm going to sit here right here. Right? There's no reason for him to throw right now. No reason for him to throw. Now, I know he sees this guy in the middle of the field working this, but I don't know if he realizes where he's at. Now, a lot of people say, well, that's dead to me. But he has thrown this at 2.5 seconds roughly, okay? And he is open. I get it. There's nothing wrong with where he goes right here with this. I guess I'm just being a greedy little bastard because I want to see him start pushing this vertical stretch. If we can hold up that 4-second window, everybody's doing their job up front. I mean, you see the pocket right here. It looks phenomenal. But I want you to see what happens to Dominic because this free safety sees the post. He doesn't see Dominic. So think about it. If Carson Beck still got the football, steps up in the pocket, he's delivering it right over the referee's left ear hole, our right side, and he's catching it right there as he comes across. That's where he catches it at. But I get it. His window of time is sped up for so long through the year that he thinks he's got to get the ball out quick, and I see why he does it. There's nothing wrong with this throw. Again, let me say it again. There is nothing wrong with what he did here. I'm just saying, like, it comes down to it, I'm a little greedy. I want to see him push this ball vertically. These are the throws I would love him to see because you can see how the corner's being held by the curl on this side, and that's why it's there. You hold this defender to bring him across behind that, and if he just stepped up in the pocket and gave Dominic another 1-second window of time, he has a touchdown right here on the backside. But still, good decision. Get it downhill and get it to a playmaker who gets a few yards there for you.